Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here with us tonight. My name is Stacy Watson, and I serve as the director for the LDS division of the Marfan Foundation. And as somebody who also lives with Loeys-Dietz Syndrome, it means a great deal to see so many members of our community here, advocates and caregivers and supporters coming together to really kick off Loeys-Dietz Awareness Month. This year's theme is More. And tonight's webinar really reflects that spirit. It's about building more resilience, more connection, and more tools to support ourselves and one another as we navigate life with LDS and the work of advocacy. Before we begin, I want to thank each of you for being here and the work you do in this community. Advocacy is powerful, but it can be demanding. Tonight is an opportunity to pause, reflect, and take care of ourselves. I also want to let everyone know that this webinar is being recorded, so if you'd like to revisit it later or share it with somebody who couldn't join us live tonight, it will be available after the event. You will receive an email. Now it's my pleasure to introduce tonight's speaker, Katey Kratz. Katey is a music therapist and mindfulness practitioner, among so many other things, who brings both professional expertise and lived experience to this work, as she also lives with Loeys-Dietz syndrome. And through her practice, she helps individuals explore mindfulness, resilience, and creative ways of caring for ourselves. We are incredibly grateful to have her share her insight and tools with us. Please welcome me and please welcome me. Join me in welcoming Katey Kratz.
You are so welcome, and welcome to everyone who is here. I am forever grateful for this opportunity. Mindfulness is a really big part of my journey, of my life. I am someone who not only lives with Loeys-Dietz, but also has struggled with things like anxiety due to medical things and non-medical things my entire life. So practicing mindfulness, talking about that, and really just building the toolbox to become more resilient and more grounded and more really in the present moment has been one of the most helpful things that I have ever done. So I am going to share my screen so you can all kind of see the things that I'm talking about as we go, and we're just going to have a great time. I am pumped for this. Here we are. I want today to be really, really easy and really low key, very relaxed for everyone. So as we go through things, if you need to move around, go grab water, go to the restroom, go do literally anything that you need to do, I highly encourage that you take the time to do that. Mindfulness is so much just about being in your body in the present moment and being here for what you need, whatever that looks like, whatever that calls for right now. So before we really get into anything, I want to do what's called a brain and body scan. So I'm going to put on a little bit of background music. And while we're doing that, all I want you to do is find a comfortable place, find a comfortable space to sit, to lay, to stand, to move around. Either close your eyes or keep them open and really just tune in. Take a deep breath, release it, and tune into how you're feeling right now. What is your mind doing? Are you thinking about where you're at now or the events of the day? Are you thinking about your day tomorrow or about dinner, a meal you need to cook, pain you might be experiencing? Just bring your attention to what is currently happening. We're not going to judge it. We're not going to feel any guilt or shame. Just acknowledge what is happening currently in your brain and body. Acknowledge if there's any physical tension happening. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Acknowledge how you are feeling at this very moment, physically, mentally, emotionally. simply bring your attention to what is going on throughout your body. We're going to bring our attention to our breath. We'll take a big breath in and out, trying to release any of the stress from the day and bringing ourselves into this present moment so that we can fully absorb as many of the tools we possibly can. Continue breathing in whatever way is comfortable for you and finding a comfortable position within your body as we continue on with the rest of our day. So for those of you who don't know what mindfulness is and just kind of showed up here today to explore the topic of mindfulness and being rooted, being more resilient, mindfulness is simply the practice of bringing your full attention to the present moment, bringing your attention to right now with openness, curiosity, and without judgment. So often when we start to acknowledge our feelings, we do so with judgment. Oh, I shouldn't feel this way. Oh, I should feel a different way. Oh, I should be doing something else. But that's not the point of mindfulness. Mindfulness is what we just did. It's bringing yourself into this very second, seeing how things are, acknowledging what they are, and simply sitting with that. You can explore it with curiosity. You can accept it for what it is, or you can try to adjust and change things. But again, it is that attention to present moment. There's the school of thought that says anxiety is derived from being stuck in the future, and depression is derived from being stuck in the past. So with mindfulness, we're bringing ourselves into this present moment where all that exists is us in this very moment, on this webinar, talking, sitting, and practicing together. But that's the biggest piece. It's a practice. It's not something you learn overnight. It's not something you become an expert in overnight. It's not something you just learn by osmosis and all of a sudden you're a pro and you know all about mindfulness. Rather, it's a daily practice. And that's why I call myself kind of a practitioner, is because I practice. I practice daily and I am not perfect at it. Gosh, Sunday, I had a serious case of what's called the Sunday scaries, and I had to sit in that, become mindful of it, and then practice every tool I knew and had in my back pocket so that I could ground myself and find a more peaceful space. So mindfulness, again, it's noticing what's happening right now. That can be pain, that can be peace. It can be noticing what's happening in your body with your breath. Is your breath rapid? Is it shallow? Is it deep? Are you even thinking about breathing? Have you been accidentally holding your breath? It's acknowledging your thoughts and your environment. What's going on in your environment? Do you need to change something in your environment? Rather than just getting pulled into worries. So now that we've been talking about what this mindfulness is, we're just going to settle in a little bit. I want you to really acknowledge where you're at and what you're in need of at the moment. So if that means that for the next 30 minutes, you need to be up, moving around, I encourage you to do so. Now that you've been sitting here on this webinar for about 10 minutes, maybe we're sinking into some things. So I want you to take this next moment, this next minute, to move or to change your space, to settle into your seat or your lying position. If you're settling into your body, do you need a drink? Do you need to grab a water? Do you need a snack? Would that help you to focus and be more present? Would a fidget help you to be here in this very moment? What are the things that would best support you right now? Mindfulness allows us to take a second to acknowledge what's going on and then find ways to support ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally. So if you need to grab a pillow to prop up a part of your body, if you need to run to the restroom, or again, grab a piece of paper to write things down or doodle as we go, I cannot encourage it enough. Now's your time. And for the rest of you who are just sitting, settling into your body, I again want you to find that comfortable breathing, that comfortable space in your breath that feels right for you. Anytime during this that I ask you to close your eyes, that I encourage you to sink into your body, or that I encourage you to work on being present, know that that comes with exceptions. You have to do what's right for you. And if you don't feel comfortable closing your eyes or syncing your breath to a certain rhythm, then don't. Everything in mindfulness is about you. So we're here today because we are all advocates. And an advocate, that's you. A Loeys-Dietz advocate is you, because you showed up, you are here, you know that this community exists, you are doing something to advocate for yourself, for your peace, to advocate for your health and your well-being. You are an advocate, you being here, you showing up. Anyone who is part of your team, who supports you, who shows up when you are in need of emotional support or mental or physical support, those people are advocates. Caregivers, people navigating the medical system through insurance or hospital things or medications, those people are all advocates. Asking questions and trying to learn more makes you an advocate, because advocacy is the act of actively supporting or speaking up for or campaigning for a specific cause. And that cause can simply be you, your personage, or someone you love and their needs. That is all advocacy. My favorite thing and quote that I saw about advocacy recently was that advocacy is love in action. I have a couple people who are on this webinar who are part of my personal community, who are advocates for me, and they show up for me in some of the most beautiful ways, simply by asking if they can support me, by giving me grace when I am having a rough day or a flare-up in some of my symptoms. Those people are advocates, just by being in my corner. So why are we talking about mindfulness for advocates? Because no matter if you are the person living with Loeys-Dietz or you are an advocate, it can be a very stressful, anxiety-producing experience. There's a lot of navigating the unknown, whether that is how you're going to wake up and feel from day to day, or getting a new diagnosis, or going to a new location. There is a lot of unknown, and there is a lot of stress and anxiety. So the more that we can fill our backpack that we carry with us with all of our tools, the better off we'll be. I use tools for mindfulness wherever I go. Yesterday, I had an appointment with a new cardiologist, and for me, going into new medical appointments is very anxiety producing. Simply sitting with that feeling, acknowledging it, and stating to someone else in my life, I'm feeling nervous about that, brought a sense of presence to it and allowed me to be able to be more present in my appointment and to be more advocating for myself in an active manner. I was able to be present because I knew that I needed to use all my tools. I needed to use my deep breathing, my reaching out to a friend. I needed to use bringing a water with me into literally every appointment that I go into. This water comes with, so that I have something that makes me feel more comfortable. because I know and I am mindful of the fact that that can cause anxiety for me. So, mindfulness for advocates is incredibly important. It can help regulate the stress response, lower chronic sympathetic nervous system activation, increase emotional resilience, support physical wellness through nervous system regulation, and can ground you in the present. For people with chronic health issues, it can be especially helpful for things like pain management. When we are aware of how our body is feeling in space and what is going on, what kind of pain we're experiencing, we can better treat that pain. Or when we acknowledge physical tension, we can actually utilize our tools to help our bodies relax a little. Additionally, it can be helpful for increasing body awareness in gentle, supportive ways, improving focus, and reducing anxiety. Again, like I said, during medical appointments. It can also reduce anxiety before imaging or surgery or going somewhere new, improving emotional regulation, and overall, just reducing the anxiety and stress response. We can't control the diagnosis, can't control so many things, but we can support the nervous system that carries all of that experience. We can support our nervous system through our daily experience, through our daily stress. So, I know we talked a lot about the anxiety, but one of my favorite mindfulness tools is being mindful of gratitude practice. So, what I want to do is all of us engage in a quick gratitude practice together. Kind of take a moment while we listen to something to talk about the things that we are grateful for. You can do that internally, you can do that in a written form, so you can write everything down in a journal. You can write things in the chat that you are grateful for. I'm grateful for literally every single person who is in this space currently. I am grateful for my partner who made my cup of coffee this morning and for the coffee that I drank this morning. I am grateful that I have such an incredible support system. I am grateful for all of the beautiful artwork in my home and being able to be surrounded by that every day. When we're sitting in stressful spaces, showing our gratitude for some of the simple things helps redirect our brain and helps alleviate some anxiety. So we're going to take a breath in and out. And with the next one, I want you to, on your breath out, either in your brain or out loud, say one thing that you are grateful for. So breathing in and I am grateful. Do one more, breathing in and out. I am grateful. If you feel like sharing something that you're grateful for in the chat or with a friend, text someone you love and tell them you're grateful for them. I'm smiling more simply because I was thinking of all of the things that I'm grateful for. It's really helpful, especially on my bad mornings when I wake up in a lot of pain, to stand up, look at my room, and name one thing, just one thing that I'm grateful for that day. And that smile and that little dopamine release brings my pain level down in a fairly fantastic way. There's a lot of different mindfulness practices that you can use on a daily basis, and I want to share several of them. We don't have time to do all of them today, but I'm happy to talk about them more with any of you at any point. These are just some of my favorites and ones that I use on a very regular basis. So this is one we did at the very beginning with the body check-in, where we kind of just assessed how we were feeling. I have a friend who actually sets a timer for every 2 hours to check in with her body and see what she needs. Does she need to drink water, take a break, get up from a chair, do something to take care of herself? I love seeing these comments about gratitude too. That's so lovely. That body check-in, though, can be really splendidly helpful. Focused breathing. That's one that I use when I feel my heart rate increasing or I become anxious for any number of reasons. I will focus on my breathing, focusing on it by simply counting my breaths in, like counting 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. I'll count those or my number of breaths. That's especially one that I use when I'm trying to go to sleep at night to help ease my racing mind. I count my breaths in and out, seconds, 1, 2, 3, 4, and out, and I slow that down intentionally. Another is using a mindful word. So picking a word of the day that you want to intentionally bring into your day. You can set that as the background on your phone, on your computer, post it on social media, stick a Post-it note on your refrigerator or on your mirror. You can actually use like a dry erase marker on your mirror, write yourself a little mindful note in the morning that tells you or reminds you throughout your day when you look at it to be present. And it can just be that, present, or breathe, or smile, or ease. Any word that helps bring you back into this present moment and gives you a second to just be here. Another thing I like to do is notice objects for as long as possible. In front of me, I have a hibiscus tree plant that is growing, and I didn't notice how tall it was getting until just this moment when I started paying attention to it. We have so many objects in our life that fall into the background. So when we take a second or a minute and we notice things about it and we take deep intentional breaths while we look at how that object is, how it's shaped, what color is it, how is the light reflecting off of it, is it in this space where you want it to be? Simply noticing every detail, almost like an artist, about that object brings you back into this moment and pushes all other thoughts, especially ones that are anxious, out of your brain because you are looking for the details in that specific thing. I also try to go for a walk every day. And if I'm feeling especially nervous or anxious, I will absolutely leave my phone at home and do what's called a color walk or a listening walk. So you look for a specific color. It could be like this navy blue color. Walking around your neighborhood, your block, looking for that specific color in everything you do. So you could say your neighbor's garage was painted navy blue. There is a pebble on the side of the road that's navy blue. But picking up on those very small particular things throughout your walk helps ground you in the present as opposed to letting your brain just wander wherever and go off in a million directions. You can also listen for specific sounds like birds or dogs, or try to identify all of the sounds that are in your surroundings. Finding mindfulness in mundane tasks helps you get off autopilot. So things like taking a shower. A lot of times we take a shower out of habit, or we brush our teeth habitually, but paying attention to how those things specifically feel. How does the toothbrush feel in your hand? What is it like to squeeze the tube of toothpaste, to brush your teeth? Are you actually brushing all of your teeth, every part of your mouth? Instead of letting your thoughts again wander, or yourself kind of just wander into a different location, bringing yourself into present by paying attention to every piece of the experience. One of my favorites is to do that while I am either washing my hands or taking a shower, paying attention to how the water feels, how the temperature feels, how I am experiencing every one of those sensations. It allows my brain to, again, be present in that moment. Cognitive restructuring has been a huge tool in my life. So it's taking a negative thought or something that I say on a regular basis and restructuring it, flipping it around, moving those thoughts, and really just giving myself a brand new narrative. Gratitude for the simple things is something we just practiced. And again, as I said, I'm still smiling because I got to just share in those things that I'm grateful for and experience those little things that throughout my day I've been so grateful for, like the smell of my coffee that just brings me so much joy every single morning. Additionally, things like journaling and free writing are a beautiful experience. We're going to get into 541, 54321 deep breathing in just a moment. And that is doing 5 things that you see, 4 things that you feel, 3 things that you hear, 2 things that you smell, and 1 thing that you taste. So I'm going to throw on a quick song. And I want you to find a comfortable position. During this, you can close your eyes. You can shift positions. Also look around your space because we're going to be doing the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So as you take a deep breath in, notice some of the things in your space. What do you see? What do you experience? 5 of them. I see a record player and a piece of art, a plant. I see my camera. Take another deep breath in and out. With our next breath, we're going to think of 4 things we can feel. What do you feel at this very moment? I feel my sweater on my skin and the chair underneath me. I feel the floor under my foot, my headphones on my ears. What are 3 things you can hear? You might be able to hear my voice or the hum of a refrigerator. What are 2 things that you can smell? I smell my flowers in the other room. And lastly, what is 1 thing that you can taste? Take another deep breath in and out. And ground yourself in this very space. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 can be really helpful, especially in disrupting a negative thought pattern, or if you are in a pain cycle, if you are struggling with anxious thoughts, giving yourself the opportunity to simply recognize the space that you're in and name all of the things that you are experiencing and that your senses can pick up brings your brain into a different space. So I would be completely remiss if I did not talk about music-based things, because I am a music therapist. I'm a board certified and licensed music therapist. I own a company called Music Therapy Connections, and my team of music therapists provides tools for individuals of all ages and abilities throughout our entire community. One of the many, many different things that they work on is mindfulness and working with people who experience pain. They also collaborate with individuals like physical and speech therapists to help in rehabilitative settings and with all sorts of goals. Music therapy is the use of music to treat non-musical goals within a relationship with a certified therapist. We go to school, we do the training, we get our credentials, we take a long test, and in several states, we also have licensure. So if you want tools and to work within the capacity with somebody else, you can always find a therapist in your area to help you with so many of the practices that I am going to introduce next. We can combine mindfulness in music in more than just using recorded music. We can do it in a lot of different ways. I know personally, I love making music for myself. One of the most cathartic things I can do, especially after a stressful day or when I can't stop racing thoughts, is to sit down at the piano behind me and just play or sing. Sing at the top of my lungs. I have a playlist in my phone that is called Trust the Songs That Make You Happy. And those songs, those are the ones that I go to whenever I need to switch my mood. So music is a very powerful tool. Music is the only whole brain activity there is, which is why it's so powerful. It lights up the entire brain. So we can use mindfulness and music together in so many different ways. Mindful music listening. When was the last time you sat down with your favorite songs and actually listened to them? Listen to the words, the beat, the tune, the music. When was the last time that you listened to every piece of that song? That's mindful music listening. You can do that with classical music, your favorite songs, rock or hip hop, any number of things. You can also synchronize your breath to music. Something that's around 60 beats per minute is usually pretty okay. Breathing in for 4 and exhaling for 6. So if I had a metronome going, we would breathe in for 4 and out for 6. So we'll try it real quick. We'll go in, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And what I would do typically for myself is slow that down. So if my heart rate is really fast, I'll start with something that is a faster song and slowly bring that down. That's something called the ISO principle that we use a lot in music therapy practice. You match where you're at currently, and then you bring down the beats per minute and the sensory input. We're going to talk about box breathing and do that together next. Another thing is vocal toning or humming. Just even humming, going, can help break a cycle. I want you to try that real quick on your own. You are all muted, and so I cannot hear you, but I'm sure your voices are lovely. I want you to try real quick, just taking a deep breath in and then humming for as long as you can. No judgment for how long, how short that is, but we'll breathe in and just hum on whatever note makes sense for you. You do that as long as it's comfortable, and just take breaths and focus on simply humming. It's an easy tool that you can do typically when you're alone or not in a public space. But if you want to do that in the middle of the grocery store, I am not one to judge. That's something I would probably do. Mindful rhythm or drumming and drum circles, or doing mindful rhythmic activities, even with your own body, tapping or clapping, can be really good to stimulate different muscles, movements, and your brain. A mindfulness playlist or a mood matching playlist is something I adore. Creating a playlist of songs that just make you feel good no matter what is a great way to shift your mindset. If I wake up in a terrible mood, which happens on occasion, whether that's due to a bad night of sleep or I'm in physical pain, I will throw on my happy songs playlist. And within the first two songs, I can feel my mood shift, because those songs bring about positive memories that help me to feel more present in that way. So finding a playlist or creating a playlist of your favorite songs is a great mindfulness tool. Another thing is song length activities. My body struggles with activities that require me to stand in one place for any amount of time. So things like putting on my makeup, which I could do sitting, but doing the dishes in particular, or cooking dinner, can be really, really difficult for me. So putting on a song that's 5 minutes long and doing dishes for those 5 minutes helps create that accountability for me to get it done and the motivation. It creates a timer in which I can do something for a very short, time-limited period, also to music that helps boost my mood. So putting the two together, combining it all, really is a supportive activity for me, especially with those things that I struggle with, like dishes and laundry, or getting ready in the morning sometimes. Dance and movement to music is such a glorious tool. There's nothing better for your mood than throwing on a dance song and throwing yourself a little dance party in your living room. There is nothing more glorious. It is brilliant to just allow yourself to dance from your chair, from your bed, from your feet in your living room while you're sitting at your desk. Throwing yourself a little dance party is one of the most magnificent ways to create a mindset change, bring yourself into the present, and create a little break in your day. Another thing I love to do is lyric and poetry writing, free writing even to music, where you just put on a song and write whatever comes into your brain. So whether that is structured as a poem or as a lyric to a song, or you are just brain dump journaling everything onto a page, it doesn't matter. Whatever makes sense for you and allows you to come into this moment. Drawing is another fantastic tool. There are a lot of songs or playlists that are thematic, that can elicit a certain mood or a certain scenery, visualization. So free drawing or creating art is a beautiful way to be mindful. And then again, just making music for enjoyment, whether that is singing in the shower, playing the piano, joining a choir, picking up guitar, doing a hobby of some sort relating to music, or really any hobby, is a wonderful mindfulness and presence tool that can also build such resilience. When you start to incorporate these tools and build your tool chest, your tool set, you start to feel that resilience. It's easier to get up. It's easier to do things day in and day out. One of the other things is a mantra and music. And we're going to talk about this as we practice it, because I want to make sure that we practice that one together and that we end with that one together. But first, we're going to do something called box breathing. And box breathing is this really fantastic method for breath work, where you breathe in for 4, you hold it for 4, you breathe out for 4, and you hold it for 4. Just like this image, you can actually take your finger and draw a box as you go. So breathing in, you can do it either on the going up or over, whatever makes sense for you. And the breathing out, you can do, again, going down or over. But every time we shift, we're going to move our finger along with it. You can also do it in your head, but I'm going to do it physically because that's a helpful thing for me. So find your natural rate of breathing. I will coach through a short breathing, but then you'll want to get into your own pattern. So we'll breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4, and hold, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, hold, and out, hold. Now at your own pace. Keep counting in your brain or out loud, either with your eyes open or closed. Focusing on creating even ins with a hold and even outs. Do 2 more. And then we'll come back into the space, opening your eyes if they were closed, and returning to a normal pattern of breathing. The last thing we're going to do is a mantra practice. If you've never done a mantra before, there are all sorts of mantras, but they are statements that you repeat to yourself as a belief, as a way of reinforcing something you want to create as a truth. So whether that is I feel, I believe. The one we're going to do right now is I am. And I am more, and more is something that's been coming up as part of the Loeys-Dietz Awareness Month. So I want you to think for a moment of what you are, how you want to identify yourself. I am powerful. I am creative. I am brilliant. I am kind. I am rooted. I am resilient. I am loved. I am cared for. Take a second to choose your mantra. Choose the mantra that makes sense for you. The different mantras are sometimes associated with different chakras or different parts of the body. So the I think, I feel, the my heart space, and the I am is the root. We are rooted and resilient. So I want us to root ourselves in the I am. If you have your phrase, you are welcome to, again, share it in the chat or keep it to yourself. But we are going to take that phrase and we're going to simply breathe for the next 2 minutes and repeat to ourselves our mantra. Again, that can be any mantra that is a powerful I am statement. It can even be simply I am more. I am more than. I am more. I am present. That's going to be mine tonight, is I am present and I am grateful. So I want you to, again, settle into a comfortable position, whether that is sitting, standing, reclined, crossed legs on the floor, or feet planted. No matter where you are, I want you to find a comfortable position. Loosen up your shoulders a little, shake them out. Release any tension you might be holding in your jaw. Let out a sighing breath. Come into this moment of I am. Deep breath in, and with each exhale, I am present. Relax your jaw, your facial muscles. Keep breathing deep, low into your belly. I am. Release any last tension you might be feeling. Repeating your mantra again, I am. With this next breath, I want you to return to this space and to your body, opening your eyes if they were closed, bringing your awareness back again to this room, but also remaining in a relaxed, rooted space. Knowing that your mantra can stick with you throughout the rest of today, into tomorrow, and into the rest of your week and weekend. You are resilient. You are rooted. You are an incredible human. And I am beyond grateful for the time we get to spend together. So remember, no matter where you are, you can practice mindfulness simply by bringing an awareness to your body, to the space, identifying your feelings, and just acknowledging where you're at. Thank you all.
Katey, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your experience, for sharing your expertise, and these meaningful tools with all of us tonight. And thank you to everybody who joined tonight. Oh, lots of comments in the chat and hearts thanking you. It's saying so awesome. As we close, I really appreciate your feedback. Just take a few moments when we end tonight to answer our survey. It's really quick, I promise. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And if you can just give us a little bit of your time and input, it just really helps us to continue to create programs that are hitting the mark and resources that really support everybody. And this webinar was just the beginning of LDS Awareness Month. We have several more opportunities to connect, to learn, and even advocate together throughout the month. So I want to encourage you to visit Loeys-Dietz.org/awareness-month. I'm also going to put that in the chat tonight. And you can explore upcoming events, educational resources. If you have little ones in your life, we have a printable activity booklet that you guys can do together, or they could do on their own, and just other ways to get involved. So as we continue throughout the month with our theme of more, I hope that this reminded you that resilience doesn't mean doing more alone. It means building more connection, more support, and more compassion for ourselves and for each other. So thank you again for being here, for the advocacy you bring to this community, and taking time to care for yourselves along the way. We hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Yay, thank you. I am trying to